Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Alma coming to you from Long Beach, California. If you're watching this, then this will be part 2 of my WIP parade, so buckle up because we still have the second half to get to. And yeah, hopefully my video or my phone won't run out of storage. Fingers crossed. But here we go. I did want to go ahead and mention that it kind of matched up perfectly. So from the last WIP that I showed you to this this next one, that was the gift that I mentioned in my first video. This is the Rick and Morty piece by All My Stitches shop, and I started this on July 5th of 2020 and I finished it on August 28th. So just in time for the gift to be framed and ready to go. But again, I don't have the product to show you because it's already been given away. So besides that, the next piece that I wanted to show you, my next start, was a sal, a mystery sal. It was my first sal to ever participate in by Lakeside Needlecrafts. And the designer is Maria Diaz. It's the Time to Stitch sal. I don't have the product image because they only release like the chunk. They don't have like a cover image or anything. They just have the bit that you have to stitch. But this is what I have done so far. From my last video, I think this was actually one of the last pieces that I showed you guys. The last time that I showed this to you, my last WIP parade, this was mostly done. So since then I've done everything else. I finished the clock face. I don't know if I had done all the surrounding ornaments, whatever. You guys get what I mean. But since then I finished part 2 and I'm halfway through part 3. But right now I think part 6 just came out, so I fell behind. But I do want to keep working on this regularly so that I can at least finish it on time. I don't know if I'll be able to do it because it's a bit big, as you can see. And she's using a lot of the same color palette, which I think was also what kind of turned me off. I was hoping for like a lot of variety, but instead so far we've had 2 clocks of this color palette, like the reds and the golds, and then 2 clocks of this color palette. So I think that's kind of sort of what got me off of stitching it. But here, I do want to show you guys the details just a little bit, because there's a lot of details to see, a lot of sparklies too. I don't know if it'll come through in the video, but yeah, that's another thing, is these are very detailed pieces, so stitching one part takes a while. But hopefully I can finish it at least on time from everything else. Okay, the next piece that I started was the Eternal Promise. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs chart based on Matt Stewart's artwork. And I started this on my birthday for my twin because she loves Lord of the Rings. So this is Arwen and Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, and he does have quite a few Lord of the Rings pieces as well. He's got a couple of Galadriel pieces, and there's one with, I actually don't know if it's out of print or not, but there was at one point there was one with Galadriel and Frodo. But this is one of my biggest charts for sure. It's massive, so massive that it pretty much took up an entire yard of the 25 count easy grid. Oh, I forgot to mention for a time to stitch, that's done on cappuccino froth from Fiona at Fiona's Craft Cottage. She was nice enough to go, I think, oh actually I think it was just a regular cut for that piece. Anyways, for this one, there's not much progress to show. I only did 400 stitches since I showed it to you guys last, so I think I did it for a task, and that's it. And this is Needle Minder by Vicky of Stitch and Button. So it's also a Frogger. On the other side, it does have a needle attached to it, so that you, if need be, you have something to frog with, so that you don't have to unthread your needle to do it, which is great. But yeah, so this is what I have done so far. I do want to go ahead and get cracking on it and get 45,000 stitches done this year, because it is a gift and I want to make sure that I give it in a timely manner. I'm also using this for quite a few challenges in 2021, so fingers crossed. We'll see. We'll see. It's a big ask, but I think I can do it. So also my birthday, so one start for her, one start for me. This is my first Mirabilia. This is Portrait of Veronica. I've always loved the designs. This is of course a Nora Corbett design. Again, love the teals and those aquamarines. And I actually found a fabric that kind of had a nice effect to it, but again, no progress to show since my last video. The reason being is when I got this wasn't serged, so I know that a lot of companies do serge their edges when they send out their fabrics. This one didn't. They just this one just sent the cut and that's it. So it took me a long time to settle in and serge all of the pieces, like the Eternal Promise as well. It needed to be serged. So that's also why I didn't work on some of these that are done on 25 count. Oh, well, this one isn't. This one's 32 count Lugana, but same thing. It does fray quite a lot faster than your regular Ada. So this one I do want to go ahead and at least finish the stitching, because it does deserve a lot of love, and I did enjoy it. Like, I remember enjoying it a lot when I was stitching it. So hopefully I'll be able to start it. And the fabric was Fairy Meadow from Youthful Hands Sunny Dice. The next bits that I started is another birthday chart. This was gifted to me by Candace of Slub Lover Stitches. So Tilton Crafts does offer the option to, they call it RAK, random act of kindness. So you buy a chart, but then instead of getting it emailed to yourself, you have it emailed to someone else. And this is Till Death Do Us Part, also by Daniel Cortex. And I love Tim Burton, I love Corpse Bride, I love Danby for Christmas, so, which she knows. But this is what I have done so far. So I've done quite a bit since you guys saw this my last WIP parade. So my last WIP parade, I had some of the black done, and then a first swirly, which you can't even see because I've since then, you can kind of tell, this is it right here, but I've since then covered it up with more black. The last time you saw this, I had 1,000 stitches done, and I now have 3,400 stitches done. So again, most of the black over here, and of course the rest of the swirlies over here. And this right here, there's like a little bit of a break on the lines. That's Victor's head, so that's his hair right there. So it's exciting. Like, I can now see some of the image, or where the image is going to be. So for this year, I do want to go ahead and do 15,000 stitches. So hopefully I can do it. That's a little less, what is that, 12, a little bit less than 1,200 or 12,000 stitches. So we'll have to see. She's blowing past me. Like, she's gotten so much done. But she's working it differently. So she's actually working it like all the way across. So most if not all of the stitching she's done is all in black. So God bless her for it. Another July start, also birthday start, but for a friend of mine. This is Three Things Sampler by Moira Blackburn, and I started this in honor of Laurel's birthday, whose birthday's on the, I think it's on the 16th. I don't know, I know it's the same week as mine. So she's stitching this. I saw this on her FlossTube, and I fell in love with it. I had to start it, and that's saying something, because I hadn't done samplers up until that point. I never thought I would do samplers, and yet I saw that one. I'm like, okay, I can definitely do that one at least. So this is what I have done so far. Last time you saw this in the last WIP parade, I had only just begun the border, the green line on the border. So I've done everything else. The goal is to go ahead and finish that top section. So the alphabet that I just started here with the A and the R is just two lines, 2 rows, and that top border of flowers. So hopefully I can get that done with this one by the end of the year. I'm gonna go ahead and try to alternate between samplers, because this was only the first. This was just the first of many sampler starts, which you'll see momentarily. Yeah, so I do want to get that top section done for her. The next one that I started was another Tilton Crafts chart. Also started on July 17th. So I think that's why I think it's on July 16th, but I'm not quite sure. Anyways, this is Fractal Energy. Artwork is by Nathan Smith. I just fell in love with the jewel in the center. Again, it reminds me of World of Warcraft. Which is why I liked it. But I haven't done much on this one, unfortunately. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have this be the replacement for the Hogwarts Castle, since it does have a lot of block stitching, as Hogwarts Castle does. So for this one, I only did 300 stitches. I think I did it, I used it for a task and did some of the bottom over here, and that's it. So not much progress to show, but I do want to go ahead and get some progress done. So please hold. I say thimble. Yeah, okay, so 15,000 stitches is what I want to do on this one. 15,000 stitches, not too bad. But again, that's 15,000 stitches to do after I finish Hogwarts. So we'll have to see. The next bit, and this is the last chart that you saw in the last WIP parade. This is Cinderella 2015 is technically the name of the chart. This is Daniel Cortex artwork, and it's based on the live action Cinderella remake that was made in 2015, hence the name, and of course charted by Tilton Crafts. And I started this on July 18th. Okay, this is what I have done so far. The last time you saw this, I had only done 1,000 stitches on it. I've since then hit 2,500, so 2,500 stitches. So last time you saw this, I had only kind of started this corner right here. So I've done all this in the bottom and moved my way across. I try to work color by color. So this is why this is stitched in the way it is. So I'm trying to finish that one color. But for this one, I also want to do 15,000 stitches by the end of 2021. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get it done. I can only hope. The next piece that I have, I don't have the cover image for. And, I do have my tablet here to show you any cover image, but I looked before this video and I realized I didn't have it. It's the Frankenstein style from Stitching Book Club, which went from August 1st, I think, until Halloween, or actually a week before Halloween. So she released the last pattern early so that people could have it ready for Halloween. I had all the intentions of finishing along with everybody else, but I just caught up with more things, as I normally do. But this is what I have done so far. It's pretty much finished. The only thing I have left to do here is the border, the inside border that she designed. But yeah, everything else is done. So the novel thing about this was that she allowed us to choose our own materials, as opposed to just giving us a list of fabric and floss. I stitched this on a 14 count Aida called Touch of Gray, which I got from 123 Stitch. So it's a very light gray, and the floss that I used was TMC 4522, which is a variated floss, which you can see in the center. And I think the gray is 535, if I remember. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, I do want to finish that as soon as possible, because again, I'm beating myself up for not even finishing it along with everybody else. The next piece that I have to show you is another Hade. This is mini Mauve irises, and the artist is Marianne Broom. And I started this in mid-August. I started this on August 14th. August 14th. And I didn't get too much done on this, unfortunately. This is all I've done this year. I do want to hit 9,000 stitches on this. I forget what percentage that was, because 9,000 is a bit of an odd number, so I'm pretty sure it had to do with a percentage, but I can't tell you what the percentage was. But yeah, it's nice that I actually, again, it's one of those pieces where I immediately got to the object of the piece, if that makes sense, so there's not too much background stitching to do, which is a nice change from all the backgrounds that a lot of my pieces have. The next one that I have to show you guys is, I think I do have that one here on my tablet. This is the Linen and Threads Mystery Sal for 2020. It's the Friends and Family Sal. However, I don't think I'll be adding all those initials that you can add on the design, which I understand is like the purpose of the design, but I suppose maybe now I can look at it since the last part was released, because this started back in January, but I was not about to. Do I have it or not? There we go. I can show you part 1 at least, which is the part that I'm on. Yeah, here we go. This is it. And so if you can see right next to the butterfly, can I make this bigger? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. If you can see right next to the butterfly, there's initials. So that's the entire purpose of the sampler, was to have initials, like your loved one's initials, all over the place. So I don't know if I'll be adding those. But this is what I have done so far. And I'm trying to, my goodness, okay. Focus, Alma, focus. So this is what I have done so far. The fabric is hand-dyed by Rolanda. She just does like unique pieces. So I saw this and I had to have it. And I bought this years ago. Like, that's how long I've held on to this. And I'm using DMC 3808. I do want to add like touches of purples and maybe magentas to kind of add a little bit of accents to it. But for the most part, it's going to be 3808. So I hope to get this done by the end of the year, but I don't know, because I want to alternate between the sals, the time to stitch sal and this sal. So I want to finish one section, like 1 month or one part from one, move on to the next and finish one part, and then just keep alternating. So fingers crossed. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but that's the plan. At least. And that's done. Oh yeah, I did mention the hand-dyed by Rolanda. It's an 18 count fabric. That's what I forgot to mention. It's still 18 count. the next start is a heartstring samplery, Consider the Little Lace. And this, I got the pattern, so Shell was kind enough to send me a gift card for my birthday. So this was the result. I was super excited because this came out in March 2020 for the, I think it was a Nashville release, and I've loved it ever since. Just oohed and awed over it, and was very happy to be able to get it. So this is, I haven't, again, just small starts because there were a lot of starts, but this is what I have done so far. And I started this on September 10th, which I forgot to mention. September 10th, and I'm stitching this on 18 count vintage country mocha. So again, tiny start, but a start nonetheless. I would like to get maybe like this section done, so like the part that I have the border for, and maybe a little bit further, not quite sure, we'll have to see. But yeah, I'm just taking it a little bit at a time with this one because it is going to be a massive piece, but I'm loving every stitch of it. I'm really happy with it. The next piece that I started is another thing that I have to show you on my tablet because I don't have the printed image. This is a piece that I'm doing a model stitch for. So the pattern itself is already available on Etsy, but the seller did reach out asking for people to go ahead and stitch it up so that she had a product image to show for the Etsy listings, and this was one of them. So this is Full Moon by Foxy Stitcher on Etsy. She has a handful of designs available. This was one of the, I think it was the only full coverage that she had. So I was like, yes please, me please. And I've been loving stitching on this. I do have this on a Q-snap somewhere because I was working on it. So this is what I have done so far. She does mostly, I like the way that she designed it was really nice because it's mostly just, you can do an entire color all around. I have done, hang on, I just had to close the tab. I'm dumb. Because according to Pattern Keeper, which is what I wanted to tell you, the progress. I started this on October 6th. According to Pattern Keeper, I am 40% done. 40% done with this. So I want to finish this as soon as possible because even though she said that we could take our time and there was no rush, I do want to get this done in a timely manner. I've already delayed enough as it is. But it's a beautiful stitch. And I love those blues. All the blues, pretty blues. The next piece that I started, so I think most of them are going to be on the tablet now. The next piece that I started was a very anticipated start. Or one of many anticipated starts. This was also one of the first charts that I got from Haid. But it's one of the largest ones, so I was kind of intimidated by it. This is Amy Stewart's A Stitch in Time, and I'm doing the regular version. Actually, it might be the max color version, I'm not quite sure. I would have to check. But in terms of size, it's the regular one, and I have it written down as a normal one. I started this on October 14th, and small start. Again, not much to do when I start a lot of things all at once. So yeah, this is the correct way. I did 352 stitches, all in white, mostly white. There's like a very light blue in there. So I started from the bottom, so it's gonna be the snow, because it does have like one row per season. So this is the winter season, so it's just snow. And again, the lighting is not doing me any favors whatsoever, but you'll just have to trust me on that one. It's 352 stitches. So this one's gonna be a bit of a focus next year. The notes that I have is that I want to finish 20,000 stitches this year for it. because again, those are really large patterns, so you have to do a lot in order to get progress done. But the one that I was really looking forward to, the design that I fell in love with as soon as I saw it and I had to stitch it up, was of course Reader's Paradise, which a lot of people started back in October. Here we go. So this is the final image, and I am doing the supersized max color. That's how much I loved it. I thought I'm going to go big with this one. So yeah, very, very happy that I was able to start it, because I was looking, I was waiting for a long time for the fabric for it. It just got, again, pandemic issues, kind of totally acceptable, but also I just struggled a lot waiting for it because the person that I bought it from wasn't very communicative, so I didn't know what was going on. But this is what I have done so far. According to Pattern Keeper, it is 361 stitches. So here we are. It's just the steps. So this is the lower left corner. It's just the steps that are going up to the second floor of the library, I guess, or the bookstore. So yeah, so for this one I want to hit 36,000 stitches. We'll see if I can do it. We'll see if I can get it done. Again, I want to make it a focus. I want to, ideally I'll be working on at least one of those two constantly, so maybe I'll alternate months between the two so I can get things done. The next one that I started is another Tilton Crafts chart. This is Caramel Macchiato, which I think has since been renamed to Caramel Macchiato Ariana, because I even, like, when I got it, I'm like, oh, this kind of looks like Ariana Grande. It's supposed to be Ariana Grande, no doubt. But yeah, I'm trying to fight with the glare, sorry. I don't know what I'm doing here. But I loved all the browns, and I just loved her face. She's such a soft expression. But again, small start for this one. Especially towards the end, I just kind of wanted to get the minimum required stitches for the No New Starts challenge. So this is all I have done so far. It's only 233 stitches. The minimum requirement is 200. So yeah, so I did that and moved on, because I started a lot of things in November for New Start November. And again, at that point I was kind of teetering towards doing No New Starts or not doing No New Starts. So by then I had decided, which meant that I needed to start all the things so that I had everything ready for next year. Or at least that's the way that I reasoned it. And for that one's gonna be a small goal. I just want to do 10,000 stitches. And oh, I totally forgot to mention, but it is 25 count easy guide for the last three. Because again, they're all, well, especially the shelves, Amy Stewart's shelves, they're just so large. Well, one's a shelf, one's a room, but they're all so large, I had to do 25 count. So Caramel Macchiato and the next few that I'll show you guys are what I was able to start with the leftover fabric. So that's Caramel Macchiato, and then the next one that I started was a cross stitch pattern that I found on Zana, I think. Zana cross stitch. This is the Cinderella pattern, and it's gorgeous, and I just had to stitch that dress up. It's so pretty, super pretty. So yeah, it's another one of those patterns where as soon as I saw it, I had to get it. I think I got it along with the villains. I'm not quite sure. I forgot if I got it before or after. But again, not much done. For this one I did also like 300 something stitches. I think is what I did. Because it was mostly just one color, so before I knew it I had done more than required. Pattern Keeper tells me it's 318 stitches. So here we go. I think that's 939, because I remember thinking, oh, at least it doesn't use black, but it uses 939 instead of black, which is pretty much the same thing. The next piece that I started is actually by our fellow FlossTuber friend, Bart of Parkhopper Bart. He designs quite a few patterns based on or inspired by the Disney theme parks. So of course I had to get this one as soon as he'd been stitching this, so I just saw the progress and I'm like, oh, I can't wait until it's available. This is Tomb Sweet Tomb. So it's from the Haunted Mansion, which is my favorite ride in the entire park. So of course I was very excited when it was finally available for purchase. I did have to make some modifications though, because I decided to use the leftover vintage country mocha fabric. Yeah. And so on the original pattern, the flowers or the roses are more pinkish and magenta, so I went for pink and reds, which I think will still look the same. The stickler in me is kind of still not, like, I'm kind of sad that it's not going to be exactly like the actual product in the theme park, but it's okay. I knew that I had to make changes because of the fabric itself, but I'm very, and of course a Haunted Mansion needle minder to go with it. Obviously. Sorry for that interruption. The next piece that I was going to show you was a Heaven in a Designs chart based on Katerina Koukiotis' design. Katerina Koukiotis. This is Mini Sun and Stars. This is of course Khal Drogo, a character from the Game of Thrones series. I just always admired the pattern. He's very nice to look at. And I think I did mention that I'm starting this on the scrap piece of 25 count easy guide that I had from my Amy Stewart pieces. So this is what I have done so far. It's kind of hard to see because it's such a light color, and the lighting isn't doing me any favors here, but so I did this, and then there's like a line of stitches going up this way a little bit, so again, really hard to see. Total, let me see what Pattern Keeper has to say here. Again, most of these last few starts have just been the minimum requirement. This one did get 309 stitches done though, so yeah, again, kind of hard to see. But yeah, this will be one of the few things that I focus a little bit less on. Well, less meaning I still want to do 10,000 stitches. Because again, these are minis, so the more you do, the faster you, I mean, with everything, I guess, the more you do, the faster you finish, but more so with minis because they're smaller pieces. The next piece that I have to show you is a piece that I started for Halloween. I started it along with Michelle of Southern Doxy Stitcher. We both were planning on starting this for a long time before 2020, you know, had different plans for us. This is Nevermore by Lila's Studio. And I mentioned to a friend of mine, Leanne, that I was hoping to be able to do this with the fancy threads, the hand-dyed threads and the fancy fabric, but of course I quickly realized that wasn't going to be the case, and she was kind enough to go ahead and send me some hand-dyed threads from her own, she has her own business, Forbidden Fiber Company. She works mostly in hand-dyed yarn, but she does have hand-dyed embroidery floss as well. and she also sent me this 16 count piece of white, or morning mist is called. That's coming out more gray. It's actually a lot bluer than it's showing up on camera. But this is what I have done so far. And thank you, Leanne, again, for the wonderful materials. They're a joy to work with. And for this one, I did go ahead and just do the 200 stitches for the No New Starts challenge. So props to Michelle. She's just booking it. She's already done. She's already done with like the top border up here. So she's way ahead of your game, or at least ahead of me. Okay, so the next piece that I started was a design by Oh My Stitches Shop, which is the same designer that did the Rick and Morty piece that I showed you, or talked about, I guess, because I never really showed you. Which, sorry about that. But this is Pattern Keeper compatible, so most of our patterns are Pattern Keeper compatible. This is, there we go. This is Baby Yoda. I think it's technically called Baby Alien, so that, you know, there's no keywords in there for Disney. But we all know who it is, and it's actually Grogu now. It's not Baby Yoda. He has a name, apparently. Grogu. So yeah, so I thought it was super cute. I am using different flosses though than what she calls for. I'm using this as a D-stash piece, so I kind of went by the cover image and found colors that matched. So this is what I have done so far, but this is just 200, again, just 200 stitches for the requirement for No New Starts. But I wanted to go ahead and just outline the jacket so that I could just power through and just stitch without really looking at the pattern if need be. So you're probably gonna see this in a stitch with me eventually, because this is going to be a very easy thing to work on during those videos. And for that one, I just want to finish it. That is the goal, to finish it. With Nevermore, I think I just want to go ahead and finish the center image, so the cemetery and the raven. I'll worry about the borders later. Yes, so I did mention that the Nevermore was stitched on Morning Mist, also from Forbidden Fiber Company. The next piece that I started on November 6th. This is, I call it Summer Tree. I'm not quite sure, I'm not familiar with the language, but because it is a pattern from China, and there's a series, so there's a pink tree and a blue tree, so that's why I'm guessing this is summer. It looks very summer-y. And this was gifted to me by a viewer, Debbie, so thank you again for it. But I went ahead and I did it on 14 count data. The kit came with 11 count data, the kind that has like the pattern printed on it, but in like pinks and yellows and blues. So I just went with standard white 14 count. So again, did the required amount for No New Starts. But I would like to work on this regularly and get this done soon. It is a very nice stitch. And again, it's a break from full coverage patterns where you have to stitch everything. So I'm looking forward to continue to work on that one. And then, and this was Baby Yoda and the Summer Tree were the first starts that I did for the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch Marathon. So that was my marathon, was just starting a lot of things. The next one that I started was a very, very nice start. Super excited to work on this. This is Teresa Wesler's English Garden Sampler, and it's a full kit. I was very fortunate to find it for free in a barter group. So I only had to pay the $3 that it took for me to send the barter item to the other user. And for this one, I'm just gonna take it section by section. I started the alphabet in the center because I just wanted to start in the center since I wasn't sure how much allowance they gave us. But it is 1/1, which was kind of unfortunate. But this is what I have done so far. So it's all the bottom of the letters. This is R. I'm pretty sure this is R, Q. Yeah. O, P, Q, R. Yeah. O, P, Q, R. But again, it's just the bottom. So I'd like to get all the alphabet done sometime this year. We'll have to see. Again, I want to take it section by section because it is a very, very involved pattern. So first things first, finish the alphabet in the center, and then we'll move forward from there. And the next patterns that I started for that marathon that weekend, on November 7th, I started, actually I can show you this, show you guys that one here. I started a few Mandarins Designs pieces, the first of which was the Little Prince, which this is what it looks like. This and Bilbo were the top two. Like these were the ones that I really liked from her shop, but just Bilbo happened to win that time. But now it's the Little Prince's turn. However, I've told myself that I'm not going to work on him anymore until I finish Bilbo. So this is what I have done so far. Again, well, most of the sky is half stitched. So in order to qualify for the 200 stitches, I had to do twice the amount. I had to do 400 stitches. But that just means it's going to be a quicker stitch, because if most of the sky is done in half stitch, and it's pretty much like 85% sky, it should go by pretty quick. So I'm looking forward to hopefully finishing that this year. Because again, if Bilbo's going to be finished, then this should be finished as well. The next piece that I started from Mandarins was her Darth Vader piece, which I fell in love with because, because she uses a lot of purples and blues to kind of account for the shading instead of just using like black and stuff. And I do apologize if you can hear sirens. There's actually a fire. I've mentioned this in part 1, but there's actually a fire that broke out last night in Irvine. So yeah, I'll try to warn you guys so you can mute it if it does get close enough. Anyway, this is what I have done so far, and this will be a gift for one of my cousin's kids who loves Star Wars. And he actually loves Star Wars too, so it's gonna be a gift for him more than anything else as well. I told him it was for the kids, but yeah, anyways, again, just 200 stitches done for the minimum amount. For that one, since again, for every time I'd say it's a gift, I want to have it done as soon as possible. So hopefully I can find a way to kind of make sure that I have progress on all of the gifts, because this next one is also going to be a gift. This is also Mandarins Designs Iron Man. Again, she has such an incredible way of working with colors. I love the reds and the golds. So really looking forward to working on this one. And again, just the 200 stitches done. So here we go, 200 stitches done in red. This actually uses the same reds that the Horde flag does. So I want to finish the Horde flag first before stitching on this one, so that I'm not overlapping those colors, because I don't have that many left. And then the next piece that I started with Tess from Tess Stitches. She was also kind enough to send me the fabric for this. This is another one of the Heaven and Earth Designs charts. This is Tea and Books. And the designer, I can tell you who the artist is. The artist is Bridget Ashwood. And this is what it looks like. I love it. I love it so much. Tea and books, what else can you ask for? And for that one, I did do 300 stitches for a task. Oh my god, okay. So it is a lot, it's a 575 by 575. It's a square, but yeah, so that's why it's gonna be a pretty massive piece. But that's what I have done so far. Again, 300 stitches, a little bit more than what was called for no new starts, but it's okay because I actually really enjoy working on this, and I'm already loving it. I think it's a nice break. So you do see the block of black, so I think it's going to be a nice balance between blocks of stitching and then just stitching everything else, like in the background. So really looking forward to that one. And last but certainly not least, the next part or next pattern that I started was a pattern that's going to be for a friend of mine that she just let us know a couple of weeks ago that she's pregnant, and she has everything sorted out. She says that she wants to go ahead and make her baby's room Winnie the Pooh themed. So here we are, and now it's black. I always have issues showing this on screen, I don't know why, or like on the tablet, but it's Winnie the Pooh with Piglet, and the quote says, "How do you spell love?" And then Winnie Pooh answers, "You don't spell love, you feel it. You don't spell it, you feel it." So this is, I think this is the right way. This is what I have done so far. I started in the center with Pooh's arms. So that's one little arm, and I am also using this as a D-stash piece of sorts. I did use some of the called for yellows, but I also picked up one that I had left over and that I had plenty of. So yeah. So again, I'm 200 stitches done for no new starts. And yeah, I hope to finish that before the baby arrives in May. Fingers crossed. But yeah, so those are all my 54 WIPs. I really hope to get some finishes in. I was actually thinking of kind of balancing out between finishing and then working on things like Reader's Paradise and the Eternal Promise that are massive pieces. So hopefully I can get some finished pieces in to show you guys for the next WIP parade. Hopefully it'll be down to 50, 45, we'll see. We'll have to see, because there's definitely a lot of pieces that I have to juggle now. So next year's going to be an adventure for sure. Yeah, here we go. Okay, they didn't get too close. Sorry. But yeah, so that is all I have to show you guys. Thank you guys for hanging in there. I hope that splitting up the video made it a little bit better as opposed to having a long movie. So God bless you, Jessie Marie, and all of you guys that do the really long videos. Because yeah, I mean, if anything, that's incentive to finish as many WIPs as possible, so that I don't have to split up the WIP parade into 2 parts anymore. But thank you for watching. I hope that you liked what you saw. I'll try to go ahead and leave all the information for all of my WIPs in the description box below. If I miss any, feel free to let me know. I'll go ahead and edit and add it, especially because there's quite a lot. That's quite a lot to show. But yeah, I hope that you guys have a good week. I hope you guys have a fantastic 2021 working with all your cross-stitching patterns and WIPs, whatever plans you may have. Yeah, whether or not you're participating in New Starts 2021, I mean, to each his own. But that group is, I mentioned it in part 1, but I wanted to reiterate that the New Starts group is going to be closing on December 4th. So if you guys want to join, you have to join like now. And answer the questions. So yeah, I'll go ahead. I was going to, because I didn't realize how long this video was going to be. I was gonna talk about plants as well, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and just leave that for another video. I kind of talked about it throughout anyways, but yeah, I'll talk about my organization skills, or not skills, but organization methods for next year, because I did change up some things. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a relaxing weekend, a productive week, and that you always find the time to do the thing that makes you happy. Until next time, guys, take care.